All right, Ben. We'll start off from this front-on view here. Honestly, in your setup and posture, there's nothing like glaringly bad, but we may play around with things as we go on here and there.
Okay.
But here's what's going on, the major key issues that I want to show you today. I'm gonna make that a little bigger. This is the pressure mat reading, right? It's as if you were looking down at your feet, right?
Okay.
Left foot, right foot there.
Okay.
It's a little reverse from what you see on screen right there.
So is this foot?
That's your left foot right
Okay.
there, right? So you can kind of see your toes, your
Okay.
heel right there, right? It's probably worth it to know, as you set up, most of the pressure, most of your balance is actually a little closer to your heels,
Okay.
right? Not something we would want to see in pretty much any sport, right?
Right.
Where you're most agile, it's going to be closer to the balls of your feet here, right? So that could be an easy adjustment, and if we kind of look at what you're doing front on as well, while this is pretty close right here, this is kind of where I like to kind of judge people's posture. Like, I like the alignment between the back of your armpits and the knees. Those two things should definitely intersect, but I would probably want to see that point a little bit more over the ball of your foot, right?
So like knees, like a little bit more forward.
You can honestly just try to find your balance close to the balls of your feet.
Okay, yeah.
Right? And you'll probably figure it out on your own
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
right?
Okay.
Just because, unless you take a lot of video,
Yeah.
that's not very useful for you, right?
Okay,
The feel there would be like, hey,
putting it on
yeah.
the balls.
exactly, yeah, let's just try to feel our balance a little closer to there instead,
Okay.
right? It's
Sure.
not that huge of an adjustment, right? But that'll probably be the only thing we change about your posture.
Okay.
Here's where things get a little crazy for you, right? So this white dot right there, that's like the center of your pressure. That's kind of like all things averaged out. That's where the pressure in your feet lies.
Okay.
It has a really big influence.
Is that in this stance right here? This
Yeah,
is just what
just
we're
in the
saying?
frame,
Okay.
right? So when we start moving this, that tracer, that's where it goes,
Okay.
right? Throughout your swing.
Okay.
Now the thing that I noticed the most here, and this is probably how you started to kind of feel a little bit in your knees, as you get up to the top, they're a little shaky here,
Yeah.
right? And we can kind of notice that pressure, kind of that squiggly line there, right? It's kind of shifting back and forth between your feet. You don't have a defined right foot and left foot, right? It just kind of bounces back and forth, and sometimes you lose your balance as well,
Yeah.
right? Also worth it to note, you're definitely an overswinger, meaning that your arms probably go deeper than they need to, right? Probably a little too much bend in the left elbow there.
Okay.
Your right arm, even though we don't see it, is winging out a little bit back there, right? So if we kind of bring in the down the line view here at the top, bring it to the same spot, right? The distance between your elbows kind of got wider here,
Gotcha.
right? Honestly, I might give you something simple for your arms. We're mostly going to work on what you're doing with your legs here.
Okay.
Some stuff to note about this pivot and some things that we're going to work on here. As you turn back, right? In fact, I might even have you set up with a little more pressure in the left foot,
Okay.
so you can get more of a kind of a defined bump back into your right foot. What the issue here is that it's not a clean shift, right? The timing of that shift going forward, honestly, isn't entirely incorrect.
Okay.
But the fact that it bounces back into your trail foot and then rebounds into your left foot, right? There's no defined, right, really clean shift into the left foot, and that's where things get really messy for you, right? It's the way that you're shifting into your feet. And overall, right, it doesn't look that bad, but we can see it in the pressure in your feet. You're just off balance here at the top,
Yeah.
right? So what we want to see, right there, this first part, like that honestly is not bad. As you get up to the top, right here, as you start to drift into your left side, right, at the very top of here, like we essentially want to get there, right, as soon as possible, as you start to turn. And I basically want it to stay there, right?
Hold on.
Like you're landing on your lead
Repeat-
heel.
Repeat right here.
Right here,
Yeah.
shift.
Okay. So this is where we go. Okay.
Shift.
Okay.
You can call it that.
Okay.
I might give you a little tool for your arms, right?
Okay.
We shift into the lead side, and then we're just post on it, right? Post and turn. Hit the ball. I think between being off balance and kind of messy arm structure, that's where the shanks kind of come from, right?
Gotcha.
Inconsistency and quality of contact in particular is where we always want to start. Before we start talking about like tightening your dispersion left
Yeah,
and
yeah,
right,
yeah.
north and south is where the biggest
Sure.
difference is.
Yeah, for sure.
Alright, Brett, so some things I want you to kind of glean from Nelly Quarter here. One is as she gets up to the top here, do you see how your knees kind of start to flex more?
Yeah.
Right? You get deeper into your knees. Watch Nelly. As she gets up to the top, it's just turn, right? This right leg straightens, if anything, right?
Yeah.
As we get up to the top, whereas see how that your femur is kind of bent out that way.
Yeah.
That's probably where the pain on the exterior of your knee came from, right?
That makes sense. It definitely looks like it's got a lot of stress on it.
Mm-hmm. So, and that's what we're going to see out here as well, right? See how the pressure in your feet, if we look at just your right foot here, as you're turning into it, that pressure goes further and further to the exterior of your foot,
Yeah.
right? So as we get up to the top here, and this will probably be the biggest cue for our top position, is we want to feel like, if anything, we're feeling the pressure a little bit more on the inside of the right leg and the right foot here, right? As well as like maybe getting it a little bit straighter. I think that, honestly, I'm more concerned with where the pressure goes, and if we see that knee straighten, it'll probably be a sign that you're using that leg correctly, right?
Okay.
Also worth it to note, right? See how far back that club's going versus Nelly,
Yeah.
right? Just barely reaches parallel, and then she starts her downswing.
Gotcha.
Cool. As she shifts forward, right there, right? She's in her left side already. She's just good to go, right? For you, it's kind of bouncing back and forward, right? You're shifting to the left, and then it kind of shifts back into the right as you push her off the right foot. Could be more defined, right? Could be cleaner here in particular, right? See that kind of as it kind of bounces back and forth between your left and right foot as you transition,
Yeah.
right? I want to see the opposite happen. I want to see that shift forward into your left foot, boom, and just post on it, turn.
Okay.
The good news is there's not a ton of sway in your swing, right? You're not kind of like shifting your hips outside the center here. That's why I like to draw that cone, right? You're turning the corner all right. You just could be in a more stable position.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do a quick little before and after. It's only been a couple of swings, but I think we're already seeing some nice gains out of these adjustments here, Brett.
Okay.
So number one, we just gave you a little extra space, and I had you try to find the balls of your feet in your setup here, right? So one thing to note, as you give the ball some extra space there, notice that you also stood up a little bit. You got a little bit more upright. This probably isn't a good thing. We probably want you to stand feel like in this good athletic posture here, right? I probably wouldn't want you to get more upright. Simply give yourself a little extra space from the ball, right? Right there.
Okay.
That should also honestly help you get a little bit more over the balls of your feet and your balance. But when we look at the pressure mat data, right, it's getting a little bit better. We're not red hot in the right heel anymore, right? That one right here. Right, we are still seeing the majority of the pressure in the left right there, right? So I think as we get used to giving the ball a little extra space, right, and don't feel like you have to stand up as you do that, right? Stay in your nice athletic posture. You'll get better at finding the balls of your feet, right? That simple cue, just finding the balls of your feet, will probably get you there. I think that you're pretty aware of what you like to do, as well as hitting the middle of the face. That's always good to know. That's always good.
Makes a big difference.
Yeah, we always want that in our swing, right? So here's next, right? I want you to look at the difference between how this right leg is being used now. To be completely honest, in the very first couple inches of your swing, right, the very first quarter, there can be some lateral motion here, right? I'm not opposed to that.
Okay.
But as we get up to the top, this is where the quality of the pivot is really starting to show. Right? We're not going like red hot in the exterior of our foot anymore here, right? We're keeping that a little bit more even, but the magic really is here at the top of the swing. There, right? That's a lot better than this, right? Like where that femur is placed, right, and like where the pressure is going in your feet is much better. I don't mind that at all, right? I just don't want to see that. There's like kind of right here, right? See, as you kind of get up to the top.
Yeah.
The difference there in the look of the leg.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot more.
Okay.
I also gave the cue to just shorten your swing.
Yeah.
But just note how much better your arms are going to look like from right there, right?
Yeah.
Like that we really like. Can we turn a little bit more to try to get parallel? Absolutely. But watch your arms here. Same thing after on the left, before on the right. it's so
yeah,
much
way
cleaner,
closer.
right? When you just feel like you're swinging a little shorter. Now your arms aren't winging out like this. The distance between your elbows honestly should never change, right?
Yeah.
This little magic triangle that you have it set up, that should be the relationship for your arms. That triangle right there, that should be the relationship the entire way through, right? And just thinking shorter,
Yeah.
right? Just thinking like 3/4 backswing
Yeah.
achieves that there, right? Now you don't have to recover from a poor backswing here. You can just turn and burn. We're good to go from there.